What's up, flamethrowers? It is me, Flame the Dragonhog here, and welcome to another installment of Flame's Rants. Now, as I promised, guys, today I am going to be talking about some My Little Pony villains. Yep, just so that way you guys can be prepared for the Ask the Sonic crew that's going to be coming up soon. Now, guys, I'm going to be covering most of the villains that's going to be showing up in there. Not all, but most, okay? And I'm also going to be talking about some of my other favorite MLP villains. Some of them I hate. Some of them I just find interesting to watch. But, so, yeah. Anyway, if you guys have any questions, about each of these villains, please put it down in the comments down below, and I'll try my best to answer. Anyway, and also put down in the comments down below, which one of these MLP villains do you guys like? Even though they are villains, and I don't expect you guys to like a villain. But anyway, without further ado, let us begin. Alright, so let's begin with these villains right here. Whoops, sorry. Anyway, guys, this group right here, this group is called Post Crush. Now, guys, they appeared in an episode of MLP Equestria Girls. It was Sunset's backstage pass. Basically, what happened was that Pinky and Sunset, they were actually getting so hyped to watch their favorite band, Post Crush. And the whole day it just went really bad, because the whole time at the music festival they were at, Pinky was steady getting distracted by other things, like guessing how many jelly beans are in the jar, and a maze, and painting, and all that other stuff, until the point where they just missed everything. Ugh. Then the next day that happened, the next day, believe it or not, it was deja vu. It was deja vu. It was steady repeating itself over and over and over again. Then Sunset was steady thinking, what the heck is going on? And so she reached out to Twilight. To figure out what the heck was going on. And Twilight suggested that it must have been an equestrian artifact called the stopwatch, I think it was called. I remember. Anyway, just like with other MLP Equestria Girl villains, they must have got a hold of it. But now they had to figure out who had it, and is making things repeat. At first, they thought it was the Dazzlings, because the Dazzlings were there at the music festival. But nope, believe it or not, they were innocent. Until Sunset saw the watch in one of the girls' hair. And to uncover the truth, she used her powers to look into their memories. Turns out, Post Crush hasn't been together for years, and this was their first ever reunion show. And so what happened was that they wanted it to be perfect, but ever so often something bad would happen, like one of their heels would break or their hair gets messed up. And then next thing you know, they came across the watch. And so they decided to use its magic to repeat any mistakes. But here's the thing. Sunset and Pinky told them it doesn't matter if they mess up. All that matters is that as the crowd loves them for who they are. And believe it or not, they did love them. And as a reward, Sunset and Pinky got to play along with them as they sung. It was actually pretty good. But anyway, guys, I'm not gonna lie. This group right here was actually really interesting villains for like a short moment. They actually did pretty good. So I guess I would call them reformed, because yeah, they haven't done anything bad, and the rest of Equestria Girls haven't done anything bad. So yeah, that was actually pretty good. Alright, next villain. Okay, so next up we have is Tempest Shadow. Now, for those of you guys who don't know who Tempest is a unicorn who actually worked for the Storm King, who actually had a goal to conquer Canterlot. It was just really bad. And with Tempest as his right-hand mare, I would say man, but she's not a man, but anyway, see, basically what happened was that she actually turned Princess Celestia, Princess Luna, and Princess Cadence into rock stone. Turned them into rock stone. And drained them of their magic. But they missed one. Twilight. So Twilight and her friends went on this crazy adventure to see if they can try and find the staff to defeat the Storm King. With Tempest hot on their trail. Soon Tempest caught up with them, captured Twilight, and started to drain her magic, turning her into stone. But nope. Through song and dance and all that other stuff, Twilight finally got into her head and told her that, friendship is everything. And so she had a change of heart and stopped the Storm King, all while sacrificing herself and turning her into stone. But luckily Twilight saved her and turned her back to normal. And so from that day forward, she became good. And she actually roamed around Equestria learning more and more about friendship. So I'm not gonna lie, guys, Tempest, she is really reformed. And guys, you can also catch a glimpse of her in the few final episodes of the MLP of MLP, where she actually helps out all the creatures of Equestria defeat the other villains. It was actually pretty good. It was actually pretty great. And I'm not gonna lie, she actually did pretty good for a unicorn with a broken horn. But anyway, guys, one other thing, I actually fixed Tempest's horn. I actually fixed it. And, yeah, I'll explain that for another day. Anyway, next villain. Okay, well, we got a group of villains here. Now, I know what you guys are thinking. No, this is not the main six. This is the mean six. Yep, they're evil versions of the evil versions of the main six. Now, guys, let me just tell you the origin about these girls. They were actually created by Queen Chrysalis. They were actually created by Queen Chrysalis to drive the main six crazy and apart. And to see if they can try and find the Tree of Harmony. And when they do find it, they were supposed to contact Queen Chrysalis. However, they became traitors and decided to do things for themselves. And so they decided to do things for themselves. It was kind of crazy. And not only that, but after when the Tree of Harmony saw that they were not the real, main six, then let's just say they got disintegrated. They got Thanos snapped badly. Yikes. Well, yeah, things were just pretty crazy. And bad. Ugh. So, yeah, they didn't have long. I mean, don't get me wrong, they did do pretty well as villains for a short time. They pretty much drove the main six out of whack and got them confused, thinking they were each other and all that other stuff. It was just really insane. That was the most weirdest episode ever. At first, I thought when I first saw that episode, I thought, what the world is up with Rarity? Heck is up with Pinky, Twilight, and everybody? But turns out it was just them. They really can confuse the mess out of people, I swear. They really can confuse the mess out of people. But the only difference is that you can see real closely, like if you look at mean Applejack's cutie mark and you look at normal Applejack's cutie mark, then you guys can plainly see that normal Applejack's apple cutie mark is red, while hers is green. So yeah, and plus if you look at mean Rainbow Dash, her cutie mark is upside down. And if you look closely at mean Fluttershy's cutie mark, her butterflies are green, while normal Fluttershy's are pink. So yeah, that's how you can tell the difference between the main six and the mean six. Plus, not only that, but their color scheme is pretty faded a little bit. Anywho, so yeah, like I said before, they actually did do good for one episode. So yeah, they were interesting villains. Anyway, next villain. Okay, now this creature right here is called the Tantabus, guys. Now, it appeared in one episode where Princess Luna, she actually created the Tantabus. Yeah, you guys heard me. She created the Tantabus. Why? Well, I'll explain it. Anyway, basically what happened was, it was that the Tantabus be haunting Luna's dreams for many, many years. Ever since she turned back into Princess Luna from being Nightmare Moon. Basically what happened was that Luna one night had a dream where Twilight and the rest of her friends defeated her. And believe it or not, the Tantabus escaped her dreams. The Tantabus escaped her dreams. And it made its way into Twilight and the rest of her friends' dreams too. So, it was up to Princess Luna to travel from dream to dream to try and catch it. And it was really hard for her because it just keeps hopping from dream to dream. It's really crafty and creative and lots of other stuff. It was just really bad. Anyway, and once it got cornered in one dream realm, Luna revealed that the reason why she created the Tantabus was to punish herself. See, she couldn't forgive herself for all the things that she has done as when she was Nightmare Moon. So she created the Tantabus to punish herself. It was just really bad. And what happens is, the more guilt she feels, the more the Tantabus feeds. It gets bigger and bigger and bigger with the more guilt it feeds off of Luna. And so, basically what happened was that the Tantabus finally got defeated when every pony forgave Luna for what she's done. And now it was up to Luna to forgive herself and trust everybody. And she did. Soon the Tantabus was soon defeated and it merged back into Luna. So, yeah. Anyway, I'm not going to lie. The Tantabus was a really interesting creature there. It was really creative and really goofy. A little bit weird, though, even though it was Luna's guilt and stuff. It was kind of complicated and stuff. But, hey, overall, it was still good. I still liked it. It was a interesting villain, not going to lie. Really interesting villain. Anyway, moving on to another villain. Okay, next up we have is Juniper. Oh, God. Okay, now, for those of you guys who don't remember who she is, Juniper, she is actually, from, well, Equestria Girls, as you guys can see. She basically was she was a studio director's niece, and she knew pretty much everything about the studio, knew all the actors, and all sorts of other stuff. But here's the thing: she actually decided to destroy the set of the movie, all because she didn't get the part of a character she wanted to play. It was just horrible. She really wanted to play a part of that movie, but she didn't. And believe it or not, her uncle was so mad at her that he fired her from the movie studio, and luckily he did get her a job working in a movie theater. And that is where her jealousy built up. That's right, guys. She actually had jealousy all built up. Why? Because of Sunset and the rest of the others. Yeah, she was really upset at them. Reason why was because it was kind of their fault she actually got fired. And so her hatred for them grew and grew. Her hatred of them grew and grew. As she walked around the mall and she caught glimpses of Twilight, Sunset, and all the others. It was just horrible to her. Then she came across this mirror. And she thought to herself, why couldn't that have been me? I just wish there was a way for me to finally be a star and be appreciated by others, unlike those girls. Then, next thing you know, a piece of equestrian magic went into the mirror and transformed it into a magic mirror. It transformed it into a magic mirror, showing Juniper what she would have looked like if she was a movie star. And it also grants other wishes too. it made things go into the mirror. It sucked things into the mirror. It was just really bad. And so she decided to suck all of Twilight's friends and stuff, all into the mirror. And believe it or not, it was actually the day Starlight Glimmer showed up. It was the day Starlight Glimmer, she actually first came to the EG world. It was pretty crazy. Anyway, speaking of which, Starlight Glimmer, she actually talked Juniper out of it. She talked Juniper out of it. Because, you see, Juniper, like I said, she was just like Starlight, wanting people to love her, wanting things to go her own way, and lots of other stuff. And she thought if she just got rid of the things that made her, unhappy, then she thought she would be happy. But nope. It was just bad, really bad. And so Juniper finally learned her lesson, and she just went back to working at the movie theater. To tell you the truth, guys, I have no idea where she is now. I don't know where she is now. She's not at the movie theater whenever I go to the EG world. I don't know where she is. But anyway, yeah, that's her. Yeah, and oh yeah, I almost forgot to mention the guilt transformed her into, well, this. The guilt turned her into that. I know, it was kind of crazy. Okay, anyway, moving on. Next villain. Okay, so next up we have is Gloriosa Daisy. Okay, so guys, believe it or not, Gloriosa Daisy, she actually she's actually one of the camp counselors over at Camp Everfree. Basically what happened was that the camp was in debt, and they're trying really, really hard to raise money to save Camp Everfree. And she really, really was determined to try and save it. She was really, really determined to try and save it. But then, one day, she stumbled across this cave. And she stumbled across 7 different colored stones. 7 different colored stones. And she decided to make those stones into a necklace. But what she didn't know was that those stones were really powerful. They were really powerful. They gave her the power to try to control nature and lots of other stuff. And so she actually decided to use her powers to try and save the camp. It was kind of crazy though. It was kind of crazy. But anyway, basically what happened was that Twilight and the rest of her friends were on a camping trip to Camp Everfree. Because you see, after what happened with the friendship games and all that stuff, Twilight, she was kind of on edge because she was fearing that Midnight Sparkle was going to come back out. But anyway, little did they know that after their first night, they started experiencing magical glitches. All of the friends were experiencing magical glitches. Why? Well, believe it or not, it was because of those magical charms that Gloriosa had. Yep, you heard me. It was because of Gloriosa. That's how they got their powers. But anyway, soon Gloriosa revealed her plan to try and save the camp, and soon the powers of those gems turned her into this leaf monster that can control nature and all that other stuff. But anyway, basically what happened was that she actually really, really was determined to try and save the camp. She was really, really determined to try and save the camp. And so basically what happened was that she put her power to the test. She put her power to the test and tried her best to get it done. But really what she was doing was she was creating more destruction than more helping. It was kind of bad. But soon later on, the mains, they got her out, they saved her, and as a reward, those gemstones, they turned into their geodes, which actually gave them new magical forms and powers and all sorts of stuff. It was actually really cool. Yep, and before you ask, yep, that's how they got their geodes. Anyway, soon Gloriosa, she turned back to normal, and she learned that she can't always do things on her own. She always has to ask for help. So basically, what she did was that she accepted the help of her friends by having a little party and having people, show up to show their support for Camp Everfree. And, believe it or not, it was a big hit. The camp was saved. The camp was saved, and Gloriosa and her brother, they all were actually really happy that their camp was saved. Not gonna lie, Gloriosa, she was definitely a really great villain, for the most part. She was a really, really great villain, and, yeah, she was actually a really great villain, and she was actually really crazy and stuff, but it was actually really good. I really did like her a lot. Yeah, she was actually a really great villain. Anyway, next villain. Okay, now, guys, this may look like a innocent little girl, but believe it or not, this right here is actually a really, really dangerous villain. Well, she may be dangerous to some, but she's not actually, dangerous. But she's not actually, like, dangerous. Okay, anyway, moving on. Her name is Wallflower Blush. This is Wallflower Blush. Now, guys, she may look like a typical, normal girl like this, but believe it or not, she had a little bit of a secret. Because, you see, she appeared in an episode called, Memory something. I can't remember what it was. But anyway, Starlight, Sunset, she was in charge of putting together the yearbook for Canterlot High. Putting in all the pictures and everybody's great memories and stuff. In fact, she even wanted to put in some of her memories of her friends and some of the events that she's went through, like the friendship games, the Battle of the Bands, and lots of other stuff. But here's one problem though. One day, while the rest of the gang were on the beach, Sunset, she showed up, and the crazy thing was, nobody remembered her. It was a little bit insane. And confusing at first. It's like they completely forgotten about who Sunset was. Well, not necessarily. You see, they do remember Sunset, but as a bad guy. Because, you see, all they remember is all the bad things that Sunset has done. But not all the good things. Though. It was really odd. So what happened was, Sunset reached out to Princess Twilight. And she learned that there was one artifact that actually had the ability to make people forget, and that would be the Memory Stone. So, thanks to Twilight, Princess Celestia, and Princess Luna, Sunset knew what she was looking for. She had to find the Memory Stone, and she also needed to figure out who had it. So she thought back to people who might wanted her friends to forget about her and make her look like a bad guy again. And then it clicked in her head. Maybe Trixie. Because after all, Trixie, she is pretty much, always in competition with everybody, always saying that she's great and powerful and all that other stuff. So she accused Trixie. But believe it or not, Trixie didn't have it. And so, believe it or not, Trixie and Sunset, they teamed up to see if they can try and find the person who had the Memory Stone. And to their surprise, it was Wallflower. Wallflower had the Memory Stone. And she revealed her plan. The reason why she did that was because if nobody remembers her. Nobody remembered her. Because, believe it or not, she was actually the president of the school's gardening club, but nobody remembered her. So she thought, if nobody remembers me, then I'm going to make sure nobody remembers Sunset. Or, better yet, how about I make them remember Sunset for what she was and not who she is now? So she erased everybody's memories. So she erased everybody's memories of Sunset being reformed. And so Sunset, she was really, really mad. But instead of reversing back to her normal self, she actually confronted Wallflower. And, believe it or not, she decided to make a sacrifice. She decided to sacrifice her memories of her friends just to save them. Because it was at a time limit. By the time the sun set and the memories don't go back to their rightful owners, then all their memories will be lost forever. So what happened was that because of what Sunset did, all her friends, they teamed up against Wallflower. And Wallflower, she actually was defeated. She was defeated, and she learned a very, very valuable lesson. Just because people don't remember you, they can remember you for what you do, not for who you are or for what you do. So believe it or not, she actually was finally in the yearbook thanks to Sunset. She was finally in the yearbook thanks to Sunset, and believe it or not, she was also remembered and loved by everybody else. So, yeah. But anyway, she was actually a really interesting villain just for that one episode. All that just because people didn't remember her. But she did have a point, though, because believe it or not, I just wouldn't mind if people didn't remember me. I mean, I would just remind them, but I wouldn't go, really far into, I don't know, erasing their memories. I wouldn't go that far. But anyway, moving on to another villain. Okay, speaking of Sunset, now we move on to Sunset's demon form. Okay, guys, well, I kind of pretty much explained Sunset Shimmer so many times, but I might as well explain it to you guys again. So basically, Sunset Shimmer, she was basically Princess Celestia's student turned bad. Because you see, she actually wanted magic for herself. She wanted magic and to be the best that she can be for Princess Celestia. Because, believe it or not, Princess Celestia didn't really see that much potential inside Sunset. And so she vowed to come back. So she ran away, and then she vowed to come back to take her revenge. So many years later, she came back to steal Twilight's crown. And so basically what happened was that Twilight, she had to go to where Sunset was, and that would be the EG universe. And that would be the EG universe, the Equestria Girl universe, where there were human versions. But anyway, let's fast forward a few moments later. Finally, Sunset, she finally got a hold of Twilight's crown after a little game of hot potato and threatening to destroy the portal and all that other stuff. She finally got a hold of the crown, and once she put it on, she felt the power it possessed. But it was too much for Sunset to handle. And the magic consumed her and turned her into this demon monster. With the abilities to turn other people into demon monsters, and she can do anything that she wanted. But luckily, Twilight and the rest of her EG friends banded together and defeated her once and for all. And soon, Sunset, she got reformed. And she also learned a very, very valuable lesson. You don't always need magic to be powerful. You don't always have to have magic to be powerful. And she also learned the true meaning of friendship. Because everybody knows that friendship is magic. Yeah, because that's the name of the MLP. But anyway, Okay, so anyway, so yeah, after turning back to normal, she had a long, long thought about herself, and she decided to turn good. It did take people a while to get used to the good side of her now. It did take her a while. It did take everybody a while, but they actually did like her now, because now she's not the school bully anymore. But I'm not gonna lie, guys. Sunset, she actually was a really, really great villain. Not gonna lie, she was actually a really great villain. Turn reformed, but she actually was really great. I actually liked it at all. I really did like it a lot. Sunset, you actually did do a really, really great job. You did a really, really great job. Anyway, moving on. Next villain. Okay, so next up we have is Midnight Sparkle. Next up we have is Midnight Sparkle, the evil version of the EG version of Twilight. Basically what happened was that okay, well, let's start off with this. As we all know that, Twilight Sparkle, Princess Twilight Sparkle, goes to and fro from, Equestria and to the EG world, to the Equestria Girls universe. But what they didn't know was that there was already a Twilight in there. But she actually went to Crystal Prep. That's why nobody knew that they were there, because around that time, Crystal Prep was the rival. It was around the time during the friendship games where this version of Twilight, she actually was really curious about what was going on around Canterlot High ever since the Battle of the Bands and all that other stuff and the Fall Formal. So they decided to see so she decided to investigate and do a little investigation of her own. And not only that, she was also forced to join the friendship games in order to see not only what was going on, but to see what type of dirty tricks, CHS was pulling. And to her surprise was that there was magic all over the place. And with each event that happened, the EGs, the rest of, everybody else, she collected their magic. And once she collected the magic, it was stored up in a special chamber that she made herself, because she was wondering what the heck was going on. And so she created this chamber that detected magical energy. And so that magical energy stored up inside that necklace that she had. And then the rest of the Crystal Prep students, they pretty much pressured her to release the magic. Because they thought if Canterlot High was going to use magic to win, then we should use magic too. So they pretty much pressured her to open up the necklace to let the magic out. But little did they know that they just made a big, big mistake. You see, the magic was so overwhelming for this version of Twilight that it turned her into this. It turned her into Midnight Sparkle. And with this new power, she was able to open rifts. And what kind of rifts? Well, she had the ability to open portals to Equestria. Which was just horrible. Because if those two worlds came together, then who knows what the heck would have happened. So luckily, Sunset, she did the same thing. But instead of her turning into an evil version, she turned into Daydream Shimmer. And finally convinced Twilight to let go of the magic. Because she actually was really too curious about what the heck the magic was and lots of other stuff. And so she actually let Midnight Sparkle go and she turned back to normal. And of course, as we all know, she became the lovable Twilight Sparkle from the EG world. We all know, the glasses wearing one. But anyway, she actually did become a really great ally for the rest of the EGs. But you know, guys, I really did feel bad for Princess Twilight because, believe it or not, she was actually replaced. She was replaced by the other her. She was replaced. And besides, I'll never forget about what happened at the end of during the end credits of of the friendship games. It was actually pretty funny how Princess Twilight ran out of the portal only to find her EG counterpart. But you know, that actually did give me a good question though. I wonder if EG Twilight and Princess Twilight actually got along after meeting each other. They probably did. They probably did. Anyway, so yeah, I'm not gonna lie, she actually was a really great villain because, of course, on My Little Pony Equestria Girls Legend of Camp Everfree, she actually made an appearance again, tormenting the other Twilight. It was just really bad. But ever since then, we haven't seen her. So yeah. But anyway, I'm glad that Twilight, she's okay now. Anyway, moving on. Next villain. Okay, now as we all know, this one right here, Tirek. Or should I say Lord Tirek? Okay, well, as we all know, Tirek, he is known for being the Magic Eater. He's known for being the Magic Eater, and he pretty much is Equestria's #1 enemy. It was just bad. Really, really bad. Because he actually wanted to be really, really powerful. And with the more magic he consumes, the more powerful he does get. And so, with his goal, he set out to try and steal the magic of all the Alicorn princesses. But of course, what Tirek didn't know was that Celestia, Luna, and Cadence passed their magic on to a fourth. What he didn't know. And of course, we all know who that fourth Alicorn princess was. But he soon got wind of it. He soon got wind of it and went after Twilight. And pretty soon they had this great big Dragon Ball Z fight. Yeah, I know. It was pretty awesome and hard to describe. It was pretty good. Anyway, not only was that crazy, but Tirek antagonized Twilight, making her, give up her magic along with the princesses as well. Why? Because Tirek had her friends. So with a trade, everything was all good. Well, kind of, because Tirek grew really, really strong and powerful. But luckily, thanks to Twilight, and, dare I say, Discord, the main six achieved a new power, a new rainbow power. And so, they finally defeated Tirek and gave the princesses back their magic. Only to wait until Tirek came back. But I'm gonna explain that in a little bit. Okay, anyway, next villain! Alright, so next up we have is Queen Chrysalis, the Queen of the Changelings. Now, as we all know, guys, Queen Chrysalis, she made her appearance during the episode where Princess Cadence and Shining Armor were going to get married. Now, this was definitely really crazy. See, what happened was that she actually shapeshifted herself into Cadence, so that way she can infiltrate the crystal. Sorry, I'm sitting thinking they were at the Crystal Empire, but no, they were at Canterlot. But anyway, so they infiltrated. So she shapeshifted into Cadence, and so that way she can infiltrate Canterlot. And so that way she can feed off of Shining Armor's love. Because that's what changelings do. They feed off of love. Which was just crazy. But anyway, she soon revealed herself once Twilight found the real Cadence, and Cadence exposed her. And so what happened was that she revealed her plan was to infiltrate Canterlot and feed off of all the love from the ponies as she can. which was just crazy and just really bad. Yikes. Which was just crazy. Anyway, she infiltrated Canterlot with her hive of changelings, and it was just really bad. But luckily, Princess Cadence and Shining Armor, they combined their love and their magic and defeated her. Well, that is until like she decided to do like miniature attacks, like she cast out Thorax, who was soon gonna be the new leader of the changelings. She even created the Mean Six I told you guys about. And not only that, but she also was also it was just also really, really bad. So yeah, she teamed up with, you know who, and I'll explain that in a little bit. Anyway, yeah, that's Queen Chrysalis. Anyway, next villain, but I'm not gonna lie, Queen Chrysalis, she definitely was a really, really great villain. She was a really, really great villain. Anyway, moving on to the next villain. Alright, now, this may look like a little innocent filly to you guys, but nope, this is actually a really, really dangerous villain. Everybody, may I present to you Cozy Glow. May I present to you Cozy Glow. Yep, that's right, Cozy Glow. That's her name, Cozy Glow. Anyway, basically what happened was that Cozy Glow, she was a new student over at the Canterlot, over at the Equestrian School of Magic. Or School of Friendship, whichever. Basically what happened was that she actually met the Cutie Mark Crusaders, and she was really nice at first. She was really nice and stuff at first, but then she got a little bit of a taste of magic, and soon she actually wanted a little bit more. See, she was a little Pegasus who really, really wanted a taste of magic, and wanted to be more powerful than any other unicorn. So after defeating Starlight Glimmer and lots of other stuff and lots of other unicorns and stuff, she actually gained the ability. To she actually used Grogar's Bell, which was a really, really powerful artifact, which can steal and give back magic, which can steal and absorb magic, which was just kind of bad. Anyway, basically what happened was that she used the magic from Discord that she stole to give herself alicorn magic, which made her which made her grow a horn and really powerful and strong. It was also really, really bad. So yeah, just bad. So basically what happened was that she set out to try and absorb the princess's magic. She set out to absorb the princess's magic, mainly Princess Luna and Princess Celestia's. So, and of course, Twilight's. But luckily, the main six had a little bit of a trap for her. And same thing with the students over at the Magic School. Same thing with the students. They did defeat her for a little bit, and then she made her way to the castle, defeated everybody. But luckily, she was the one who got defeated, and she was sent to Tartarus, where, believe it or not, she met Tirek. But anyway, soon later, her, Tirek, and Chrysalis, they worked together to try and defeat the main six, but only for a short moment. That is, until every creature in Equestria got together and decided to help them out. And soon they were all defeated. The main six, the pillars, the students, everybody teamed up to help Twilight and the others defeat those three villains. And once they were defeated, Discord, Princess Luna, and Princess Celestia, they used their magic to turn them into stone. So yeah, I'm not gonna lie, Cozy Glow, she is definitely a really, really interesting villain. She kind of reminds me of, I forgot her name. I think her name is Dolly. I think her name was Dolly. It's that little girl from that Batman show. She's basically a grown woman trapped in a little girl's body. I forgot I think it was Dolly. I think it was actually pretty crazy because if you look at Cozy Glow and that girl, they pretty much kind of look the same a little bit. Well, she's a Pegasus and Dolly's a normal human. But anyway, next villain. Moving on. Okay, so next up we have is Starlight Glimmer. Now, I told you guys many times before that Starlight Glimmer, she was actually a really, really great friend to everybody. But, believe it or not, before, she actually wasn't a good friend. She actually wasn't a good friend. Heck, she wasn't a friend at all. See, basically what happened was that the main six, they were sent out on a friendship mission. To try and do something about this village that seemed to be losing their friendship. And so they went to this village. It was kind of odd. Because you see, everybody was wearing the same things. Everybody was talking the same. And what was even more weird was that everybody had the same cutie mark. An equal sign. It was pretty insane, I know. And then they met one pony who seemed pretty much more cheerful than everybody else. And that would be Starlight Glimmer. That would be Starlight. Anyway, basically what happened was that Starlight, she actually was the reason why everybody was like that. Because she actually used magic to steal everybody's cutie marks and make everybody equal. You see, basically, her plan was to make everybody equal because, you see, basically what happened was that it happened in her past. Magic was the reason why her friendship was broken. And so she thought, if I couldn't have a friend, nobody can. So, yeah, she invaded this village to turn everybody equal, which was just kind of crazy. Anyway, basically what happened was that she was defeated and everybody got their cutie marks back. Everybody got their cutie marks back. She was defeated and, until she was until she showed up at Twilight's castle. And she decided to use the friendship map to mess with time. Because, you see, she just didn't have to mess... Because, you see, she realized that she didn't have to mess with other ponies' friendships. She just had to mess with Twilight's. So, she used the friendship map to travel back in time to try and mess up her friendship. But basically what happened was that they traveled to many different dimensions to say what if Nightmare Moon wasn't defeated, or what if King Sombra wasn't defeated, or what if Queen Chrysalis wasn't defeated. It was just bad, really bad. And so they finally made it to the right time. And that time was when Rainbow Dash did her first ever Sonic Rain Boom. And so she thought if Rainbow Dash never did the Sonic Rain Boom, then their friendship would be over. So she did try her best, but soon Twilight, she came across the reason why Starlight was upset. So she told her she didn't have to do this, and she'll teach her everything she needs to know about friendship. So Starlight, she turned from villain to student. And she actually did pretty well. She was reformed, and she actually became a really great ally to the main six. In fact, she pretty much been recruited to turn the main six into the main seven. But anyway, she actually did do a really great job, learning about magic and being helpful towards the others and just being a really good friend. So, yeah, but I'm not gonna lie, Starlight, she actually was a really great villain, but now that she's good, everything's fine now. I'm just glad. Anyway, next villain! Okay, next up we have is King Sombra. Oh, Lord. Okay. King Sombra, guys. Well, as we all know, guys, King Sombra, he is definitely one of the most biggest jackasses in all of Equestria. He pretty much wanted everybody in the Crystal Empire to be under his control, to do whatever he wanted, whenever they wanted. Because, believe it or not, guys, King Sombra was actually he was actually the original ruler of the Crystal Empire until before Cadence. But after when King Sombra was defeated, after when King Sombra was defeated, Cadence, she took over. And soon after when he came back, he tried to take his throne away from Cadence. He tried to take his throne back, and pretty much he used his mind control powers to try and control every pony's mind in Equestria, to try and steal it back and all that other stuff. It was just really bad. It was just really, really bad. So, yeah. Anyway, it was just pretty crazy. Anyway, it was just really crazy. Like I said before, he was the biggest jackass in all of MLP. Worst villain ever. I mean, he pretty much almost killed Twilight. He pretty much almost killed Spike. He almost killed Cadence. And not only that, but he also almost ruined everything in the Crystal Empire. It was just really bad. Just yikes. So, yeah, he was the biggest thing. Yeah, so he was the biggest jackass ever. But overall, great villain, I guess. I don't know. I just really hate him. I just hate him. To tell you the truth, I hate him worse than Tirek. Which is just bad. Anyway, moving on to the next villains. Okay, now we're talking about this villain, who we all know, and somewhat love, somewhat hate. It's Discord. Okay, now, guys, as we all know, Discord, he is the Lord of Chaos over in Equestria. He is the Lord of Chaos. He pretty much does anything random. I mean, why else do you think he has all sorts of random body parts, which is just crazy. But anyway, basically what happened was that he actually was a pain in the butt for years. Even Princess Celestia and Princess Luna didn't like him, because they pretty much had to put up with him. But his main plan was to make Equestria go into total chaos. It did happen years ago, but soon after Princess Celestia and Princess Luna, they used the elements of harmony to turn him into stone. But then years later, his statue was brought back to Equestria, and believe it or not, he got loose. Yep. And soon after that, he also learned that the princesses were really a pain in the butt, which is just really bad. So it was just kind of crazy. But anyway, he also learned that the elements of harmony wasn't, there to turn him back into stone. So he decided to take the opportunity to make the world go into chaos once again. But anyway, it was around the time where Twilight, she actually tried to use a spell on something, but it not only messed up the elements of harmony, but it also switched her friends' personalities and their roles and stuff, and their cutie marks, which was just bad. Yikes. But anyway, it was just pretty insane. It was pretty insane. It was like some weird Freaky Friday type mess. But luckily, Twilight, she reminded everybody who they were. And they defeated Discord once and for all, once again. But only until he got brought back. But only this time, he actually helped out. He actually was kind of reformed a little bit. He actually wanted to learn about friendship. But every so often, he kind of betrays the main six and helping out Tirek and lots of other villains and stuff. In fact, for those of you guys who don't know, the reason why Twilight had so much confidence and stuff was because of Discord Discord was the reason why King Sombra, Cozy Glow, Tirek, and Queen Chrysalis came back. Discord was the reason. He brought them back just to boost Twilight's confidence, which was just bad and crazy. I mean, he did have good intentions, but it also backfired in his face. Ugh. But anyway, Discord, he's sometimes on and off when it comes to, friendship and all that other stuff. He's sometimes on and off. Other times it's random. Other times he's doing something good. But it was just definitely really insane. But believe it or not, there's only one pony that I know that definitely did get under his skin and definitely helped him out, trying to understand stuff. And that pony would be Fluttershy. I mean, Fluttershy pretty much is the only pony that can pretty much control Discord. Because, a sweet and adorable pony like Fluttershy, how could Discord, be, towards that? So, yeah. Anyway, moving on to the next villain. Alright, so we got a group of villains here. And we all know who they are. They are the Dazzlings. They are the Dazzlings. Adagio Dazzle, Aria Blaze, and Sonata Dusk. Anyway, basically what happened was that many years ago, they actually did come from Equestria. They were beautiful sirens with beautiful voices. Sure, their voices may have sounded beautiful, but their intentions was nasty. You see, they feed off of negative emotions towards ponies and other people. And the more negative energy they absorb into their crystals, then the stronger they become. But luckily, Star Swirl the Bearded, you guys remember him, he banished the sirens to another dimension. But what he didn't know was that the dimension that he sent them to was the EG universe. That's right, the EG universe. And soon after, the Dazzlings, they got wind that there was some magic around there, over at Canterlot High. So, they donned disguises and enrolled in the school. To see if they can try and get a hold of that magic. And soon after that, Sunset, she started to get a little bit skeptical about these girls. So she contacted Princess Twilight and asked her if she could come over there. And so once she came over there, everybody filled her in about blah 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 about all that other stuff. Then next thing you know, the Dazzlings. The Dazzlings thought it was all a joke after when Twilight tried to use the power of friendship and all that other stuff, but it didn't work. They just laughed. But then the Dazzlings got a little bit more skeptical. And they suggested, and after all, since the whole school was under their spell, they pretty much had everybody agree with them and having a battle of the bands. And so Twilight actually thought, what if it's not normal magic? What if a song could defeat them? Because after all, music defeating music, a battle of the bands, that would be pretty good. So she actually got to working on a musical spell. Unfortunately, it didn't really work out. But luckily, things got a little bit easily for her. That is until Trixie betrayed the main six, locked them beneath stage, and while they were trapped down stage, bottom stage, they pretty much started arguing about whose fault it was, and soon the Dazzlings, they absorbed most of their negative energy. And soon after when they escaped, when the main six escaped, they decided to take on the Dazzlings, finally. But what they didn't know was that because of their negative energy, the Dazzlings ponied up. They grew their pony ears, their tails, and their wings, and all sorts of other stuff. But anyway, it was just definitely really crazy. Soon the Rain Booms and the Dazzlings, they went head on. But soon, that negative energy that the Dazzlings absorbed really let loose. Their eyes glue red, their necklace glue red as well, and they let loose their true forms, their siren forms, and they sent them to attack the rain booms. They held out for a moment until they used their sonic voices, but luckily, thanks to Sunset teaming up with the rain booms, the Dazzlings were soon finally defeated, along with their crystals being broken and their voices going off key. They were booed off the stage and embarrassed, and they were never seen again. That is until, until Sunset's backstage pass, where they made that little cameo and they sang one of my favorite songs, Find the Magic. It was definitely pretty good. But anyway, the Dazzlings, yes, I'm definitely going to have to say the Dazzlings are my #1 favorite EG villain ever. They're my #1 favorite EG villains. They're really, really amazing, and I really do like them a lot. Anyway, next villains! Okay, so next up we have is the great and powerful Trixie. As we all know, guys, Trixie, she pretty much is a unicorn that just wants everybody to show every pony how great and powerful she is when it comes to magic. But unfortunately, her magic can be a little bit floppy. Sometimes it works, sometimes it doesn't. But then one pony showed up and showed her up, and that pony was Twilight. And so Trixie made it her own personal mission to try and be better than Twilight. She made it her own personal mission to try and be better than Twilight. And so she actually decided to go on a little journey to find the most powerful magical artifact there is. Something that can easily, give her the same magical abilities as like an alicorn. And that would be the alicorn medallion. Soon Trixie put it on, and she actually felt really, really amazing. She had the powers of an alicorn. And she actually challenged Twilight to a magic off. And believe it or not, Twilight actually won. Because, you see, Trixie was tricked. Twilight had a fake medallion and told her that it's a whole lot more powerful than her medallion. But really, it was just a necklace with Zeccora's door stopper. And she thought to herself, and Trixie was like, how could this be? Then Twilight said, you don't always have to use magic. To trick somebody. Get it? But anyway, soon Trixie learned about that. But sometimes she's a little bit on and off when it comes to, Twilight and the rest of her friends. She's a little bit on and off. It was just really insane. I wouldn't exactly say she's somewhat reformed, but she hasn't exactly done anything like majorly bad. Well, except for when she made the friendship. Well, except when she made the table of friendship disappear, and not only that, but she also kept on bullying a whole bunch of ponies and stuff. But overall, it wasn't that bad. Anyway, so Trixie, she definitely was a good villain from that little bit. She still did good. Anyway, next villain. Oh, man. Okay, now this one right here. We got Daybreaker, the evil version of Princess Celestia. Okay, well, guys, believe it or not, Daybreaker has not been seen on screen as much. She has only been seen on screen only once, and that would be the time where Starlight actually went on a friendship mission to Canterlot. And believe it or not, the friendship problem that needed to be solved was Princess Celestia and Princess Luna. They actually were hurting each other, but had no idea. That they were hurting each other. It was just really bad. And then one night, as Princess Celestia, she was trolling through the realm of dreams, and then she stumbled across Starlight Glimmer's dream. Because you see, Starlight Glimmer, she actually had a horrible dream where what if she couldn't stop the princesses from fighting? because next thing you know, because you see, next thing you know, one thing will lead to another. They'll both get angry, and then not only will Nightmare Moon come out, but same thing with Daybreaker. Like I said, evil version of Princess Celestia. And she has a whole lot of fire abilities and all sorts of other stuff. It was just insane. But hey, even though she did only have like one debut, I still liked it. She was definitely interesting. But Daybreaker, we could have used a whole lot more of you in the show, I guess, instead of showing up only once. But it was still okay, I guess. Anyway, yeah. Alright, guys. We are down to the last villain. And I think you guys all know who the last villain is. Here we go. Yep, you guys guessed it. It was Nightmare Moon. Man. Anyway, basically, guys, what happened with Nightmare Moon is that she is the evil version of Princess Luna. Basically, what happened was that it was the tale of two princesses and sisters, Princess Celestia and Princess Luna. Of course, Princess Celestia was more appreciated than Luna because Princess Celestia was responsible for raising the sun and creating such beautiful daytimes. However, unlike Celestia, Luna, she wasn't appreciated for her beautiful night times because, hey, every pony was asleep and not up to appreciate her night times. And she thought to herself, it was all Celestia's fault. If only I was just like her. And soon the jealousy got to her, turning her into Nightmare Moon. With only one goal, and that is to make it night permanently. To cover Equestria in a huge blanket of darkness. So that way, everybody will have no choice but to appreciate her nighttime. Of course, Princess Celestia wasn't going to let her sister do that. So they ended up having a huge fight. But then, Princess Celestia had to do what was really hard to do to her sister. And that would be banish her to the moon. That's right. You heard it here, folks. Princess Celestia banished her own sister to the moon. But then years later, after when Twilight came to Ponyville, and was set out to meet some friends and all sorts of other stuff, and making sure that Princess Celestia's party was all set for her arrival, believe it or not, Nightmare Moon returned. And she even threatened to continue where she left off. And that would be to cover Equestria in a great big blanket of darkness. But luckily, Twilight and the rest of her friends, they teamed up against Nightmare Moon. They teamed up against her and all sorts of other stuff. And they even found the elements of harmony. And finally defeated Nightmare Moon once and for all. Not only defeating her, but also turning her back into the ever so beautiful Princess Luna. It was definitely insane. Princess Luna, when she came back, when she was turned back to normal, everybody really appreciated her. Although, when she came back during one Nightmare Night, everybody was scared of her because believe it or not, her appearance was still looking like Nightmare Moon's a little bit. So everybody thought that she was still Nightmare Moon. And then, once she learned the reason why they celebrate Nightmare Night, she decided to banish Nightmare Night. But then, pretty soon, she realized that lots of ponies really appreciated her. Believe it or not, Nightmare Moon. Everybody appreciated her and Nightmare Moon. Reason why was because if it wasn't for Princess Luna letting Nightmare Moon out, then they wouldn't have something to be scared of. Then, if they didn't have something to be scared of, then they wouldn't have thought of the idea for Nightmare Night. So in a way, Equestria thanks both Nightmare Moon and Princess Luna for everything they have done for nighttime and all that other stuff. Whew. Guys, that was a long list of villains. Hopefully you guys enjoyed me talking about these villains. Hopefully you guys enjoyed it. And if you did, please leave a like and comment down below. And also, let me know in the comments down below which one of these villains was your favorite. And also, let me know in the comments if you guys have any questions about these villains. Oh, and speaking of the villains, guys, now that you guys know a little bit more about the villains that's going to be coming on Ask the Sonic Crew, let me know and be sure to go over to the Ask the Sonic Crew video, so that way you guys can put down your questions now that you guys know a little bit more about these villains. Be sure to put them down in the comments down below over in the video. Put your questions down for them. So yeah, anyway, and if you guys are not already subscribed to the channel, be sure to hit that subscribe button and turn on the notification bell, so that way you guys will be up to date whenever I post. Anyway, if you guys need me, I'm gonna catch my breath. Whew. Anyway, this is Flame the Dragon Hog signing out for now. Later, flamethrowers.